parlor is this massage establishment, okay?
Oh.
Kim
So I have a few extras.
has some,
Oh,
These, if you
Thanks.
want to start, you can look at some of these, so they have a couple.
we changed what, 3 things?
Yeah, I think 3.
Massage parlor to massage establishment. And then we did not require to have a restroom in every dressing room like it was before. You had to have a locker restroom out.
Right, it's a minimum of 1 dressing room containing 1 toilet and 1 wash basin shall be provided by every massage establishment. Provided, however, that if male and female patrons are to be served simultaneously at the establishment, massage room or rooms, dressing and toilet facilities shall be provided for male and female patrons.
Even though in the day and age where they have the unisex bathrooms,
Yeah.
still stuck to the old school mindset there, so.
Took out
Now-
lockers and showers.
Speak
and all
up,
those
speak up, because
Well,
Karen is.
I do
lots
get
of
massages, and it's like a spa, and there's like a bathroom and it's just one person,
But-
there's not multiple.
Okay, but
And then
what
you
we're
want
talking,
to-
and these are legitimate
Right,
massage establishments.
Right.
And anything that's legitimate, they're good. What this was written for was all the ones we had trouble with. That's why
Okay.
these were written stringent, to make them follow the rules and regulations. But every legitimate one that you talk to is, you know, they have what you just said. They're,
there's
yes,
one person bathroom.
Right.
That's it.
yeah. Yep. So Karen said she wants 1 bathroom with a locking door, and whoever needs to use it, uses it.
But yeah, that's what, the ones I've been to, that's what happens.
Okay.
They call those privacy bathrooms, because they have a
Right.
lock, so nobody else can get
Yeah.
in there.
I know like a lot of, like Jerry's Coney, when they remodeled up there, they didn't have enough to make 2 ADA bathrooms. So one's an ADA bathroom unisex and the other one's a ladies bathroom there, so. So they didn't have the room, just wasn't enough room without expanding the building to do that, so. But, so, okay, that's, anybody else have any input on that besides Karen?
In the bathrooms?
I sort of agree
Yeah.
with Karen on the issue, I don't know if it's gonna be a problem with establishments that are open already.
You're
But I'm
okay with
assuming they
just
all
one
have at
locking
least
bathroom,
one.
that- You're
Yeah,
okay with that,
they all
right?
have at least one.
Assume they
yeah.
all have
What
at
are
least
your
one.
thoughts, Scott? 'Cause
That's fine. I don't have any objection to that.
Okay. So
I mean,
just,
So we
the
could-
idea is, I mean, I'm confident that the places you're going.
Yes,
like-
true.
Like my wife and my son's an athlete, and he gets massages regularly, and so they go to spas, right?
Right.
correct.
This is completely different. So, and I'm assuming that if they service men and women at the same time, they probably have a separate bathroom. I don't know that they're servicing men and women at the same time. You know what I mean? How many
Well, like if
people-
you get a
how many-
couple, if you get a couple's massage, you know, like if you wanna use the bathroom, it's down the hall, and then,
Just one.
yeah.
there's just one bathroom for the facility, so to
Right.
speak, right?
I mean, we go to La Vida Massage,
Yeah.
so that's what it is.
That's a customer bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They have,
customer
they have
bathroom.
employee bathrooms separate.
Right.
Is that long way forward?
I've been to that one, but we go to the one, in Clarkston at Sashaba in 75.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any objection.
What's the difference between a massage parlor and a spa?
Not a massage parlor, massage establishment.
Yes.
What's the difference between that and a spa?
The
I
public-
don't
The
know.
spa offers, normally
Never
the
been
spa
either.
offers other services as, not just
Spa?
massages. Spa.
Like what, facials?
Yeah.
Facials,
Wax
could be
nails.
nails, could be waxing, could be
Hair,
a
yeah,
bunch of
who knows?
different things, yeah.
I brought.
So you
You
can
don't
go
know that,
there.
Tony?
Or
No, I don't know.
people could just add
I'm pretty
to
weird
make
about
it
that.
sound more sophisticated.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
Well,
Levita,
the
though,
one-
do they do other services besides massages, or they
they
only
do, but
massages?
they do facial stuff, I guess. I've never had it done, but it's advertised. But I always thought that people just added spa to make it seem like more.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
curious.
yeah, well,
Like a
yes.
hot
And that's-
tub or?
That's true,
No,
you can't
not
necessarily
really.
go.
A whirlpool?
The one at Telegraph in, Huron and Telegraph was called, Sun Spa.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. We all know that wasn't a spa.
As you.
Right, right.
So, but typically, you're right, you would think that, you know,
One-
nicer, high-end places are normally known as spas, and they offer other services. I can tell you that the Sun Spa did not offer manicures or pedicures or anything else. They offered a lot of things, but not anything that we want in this township.
They probably would have offered if you'd paid for.
Yeah, oh yeah, they were offering, oh,
fingernail
yeah.
clipping or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So does this ordinance cover spas too in the township, or? is that
It's a
the-
massage establishment.
Massage
We have
establishment, so any,
that.
yeah, so any spa that
Is
would offer
there,
massage.
is there an ordinance for a spa then in the township?
No,
No,
but I
so-
think it just falls under
That falls under
that.
Falls
that.
under?
Yeah.
So we're saying that there should be at least one bathroom that could be used by men or women?
Yes.
One
That
lot.
lock.
Unisex
One
That
lot.
lock.
So
So I
Just-
would update
Just for the heck
this.
of it, most doctors and dentists and things like that have independent buildings.
Right.
They typically will have one bathroom
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah,
You get a
you,
key,
you
yeah.
you could take, so I don't know if you probably don't have a copy of this email, but the wording that was put in the email about the changes could end at establishment, and the end of that sentence, provided however that if male and
Provide.
female patrons are to be certain, that you could just eliminate that last part of that sentence.
Dressing room containing one toilet and one wash basin, provided
Oh.
by every massage establishment, one locking. A minimum of one dressing room containing one toilet and one wash basin shall be provided by every massage establishment.
Yeah.
Right.
Should we say locking though, I would think, or?
You probably have to identify as locking.
I would think so.
A one-person bathroom.
A lock is easy to put on. They can
Individual.
put one of those sliding things on it on the end. It's-
Right.
Make it lock it, I would say.
They can't lock the door by mistake and lock it.
Right,
so-
exactly.
With a bolt on the inside, you know.
Okay. Okay, and then the only other part of this was the time. The hours of operation, under section 10-178, it says no massage establishment or massage school shall be open to the public for business between the hours of 9 PM and 7 AM. And I was wondering, should this be 9 PM for the establishment and 10 PM for the school, or 10 PM for both, or something different? The reason why I was wondering, which I had mentioned, because I could see somebody going into third shift work or something, they might wanna stop by at 9 o'clock and get a massage, and they might not be done until 10. And the schools nowadays at Open University or wherever, schools definitely stay open until 10. And she is saying 11. She offers her school open until 11 for classes.
No.
I would limit the establishments to 9.
I'm not in favor. We changed that was changed even before this came around the first time. There was already a change made.
What do you think, Scott?
I think 9 o'clock. I
9
don't
for
think
the
nothing-
establishment, 10 for the
As far as I'm
school.
concerned, nothing good happens.
9 and
after
9?
9. I don't know about the school. We don't have any schools. It's like I said before, here's my opinion on all this. The people that are making the biggest noise about this stuff are people that have nothing to do with this township.
Right.
They're not residents here.
Right.
They don't
Business
have,
owners.
they don't have businesses here. They don't have to worry about one of these places showing up on their neighborhood corner. One guy's a lobbyist who works out of Lansing.
Right.
The other woman is a woman who runs a massage school. And her main objective is to get more customers and push out as many massage therapists as she can.
Right.
And her school's in Southfield. None of that has anything to do with us. So
I'd stick with 9.
to be able
So you think it's 9 o'clock?
to make a change for them and solely for them,
No.
I'm not necessarily in agreement. I think we changed this originally to 9 o'clock because I think any legitimate or reputable spa or massage establishment is gonna be open like most businesses till 9 o'clock. Anything after that, I think you're taking your chance.
In fact, any state-registered educational facility, we don't have jurisdiction over their time of operation.
Yeah,
That falls under the jurisdiction of the state. So if it's a legitimate school, you know what I'm saying? If it's not, if it's, you know, if
You're
it's
talking
not.
about like OCC or
Yes,
something like that? Yes.
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are private, for-profit businesses.
Right.
Right.
Right, so again, then that would fall under our jurisdiction, and we can dictate what kind of, so 9 and 9, are we good with that?
I'm good with
I'm
that.
good with that.
Okay, we'll make it 9.
Is it possible that there's a provision in state law that might let them be open later? Would it make sense to at least, unless it falls
The
under?
schools you're talking about?
Yeah,
The schools.
Is it
just to cover it.
But we don't have any schools.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, there is a school off of Dixie, but I don't know, but it's not necessarily a massage
do
school.
nails
It's
and-
nails and hair, and I don't know what
Oh,
times they stay
yeah,
open to.
I don't know, yeah.
I don't know what
What
time
is
they
it?
stay
Is it
open.
Irene's
I'm pretty sure they
massage?
aren't
We
open
don't
at 10
have
o'clock.
any, we don't have any licensed massage schools in this.
Okay, then just let them know with 9 and 9.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
In case somebody decides to put a school in, they're gonna know it's gonna be 9 o'clock.
No, they can come, we can amend it, you know, if we need to, but I doubt it.
Does Rump have appointments for massage before 9?
does who? Who?
Rump over on Williams Lake Road? He's open super early.
Well, this says between the hours of 9 PM and
7 AM.
7
He opens at 7
Oh,
AM, they
okay.
can massage at 7 AM.
Yeah.
Hours of operation are 7 AM to 9 PM. Hours closed 9 PM to 7 AM, so
Right.
just
And this
flip-flop
is
the
from
numbers.
massage parlors. So my wife goes to a chiropractor
Right.
at
Right.
8 o'clock in the morning.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
She gets her massage at the chiropractor's office.
That's what I'm saying.
Massage your back, then
Yeah.
you massage your
Yeah.
ball, and you go out the door.
Well,
Which
the
is a
insurance
different,
will
which is a
all-
whole different ballgame. They don't need to be licensed.
Right,
on
yeah,
our-
they're not,
Right.
they're not following this
Right.
anyways.
Okay.
Okay, so then one last thing regarding this is the fees.
Registration fee.
Right, so we had said it would be $500 on the annual
Mhm.
basis. We're thinking that the one-time annual $500 fee, we'll leave it for the first.
When they initially register.
When they
For business,
initially
it's a $500
sign up.
registration.
The application fee.
Yep.
Right.
The application to be licensed, because there's some time and effort and investigation that goes into that.
Right.
Past that, the renewal, if you guys are inclined to reduce that to, half that amount, I don't have any objection to that. There's still gonna be some work that needs to be done when they renew, but it won't be as intensive as the initial application process.
We're not looking, like I said, make money out of this, but to cover our costs, rather than coming up in the negative, we cover our costs. So like I said, if we reduce it to $250,
It's fine.
that's half. I
Mhm.
mean, that's a 50% reduction in the fee, I think is significant.
No, I-
Yep. So we reduce it to $250.
So for
Yes.
renewals,
Yep,
we will make it $250.
yep. And again, in a
It's
business.
yearly renewal,
Yeah,
correct?
annual license
Annual.
renewal. But again, in a business is making $250 is not a significant amount of money, it's not. It just
No.
isn't.
Like I said before, if $250 is gonna put you out of business, you need a new business plan.
That was very well
Thank
put,
you.
by the way.
Your money manager or something, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, anybody remembers from the ordinance or anything that they
I
liked or
got,
didn't like?
not about the ordinance, but I just wanted to ask Scott, are you aware that there's a new place opening up across from Myers on Panic Lake Road?
A new massage establishment? Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think we have an application from them yet, so, or.
I don't know if you were aware that there are.
Yeah, I've been told, but I don't, they're not open yet, are they?
Not that I'm aware of, but I know they're gonna be opening pretty soon.
So they'll have to apply, and if they don't, when they open for business, we'll go.
They're advertising now, so,
We'll go over there and make them aware.
Yeah.
what is it, the Pine, is that Pine Tree Plaza?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're good with the ordinance now, Scott?
Yeah, I'm good.
Everybody else good with that now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and then we talked to Larry a little bit about the zoning, but again, where it's C4 currently zoned, an office, so it's just like doctor's offices and such, so everything falls in for the zoning, so.
So we
Okay.
probably should look at these fees a little bit, but not necessarily. Because we have the pawnbroker at $300, and we were thinking that maybe we would wanna.
3,000?
For $300 annually?
Yes, it's an annual.
Monthly.
They're not balking at it, are they?
No, I'm just thinking
Don't wanna
that we
change it.
might wanna increase it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have a massage establishment for 500, you have a liquor license for 500.
That's the first time
A first time
registration,
now.
fee.
but an
Okay.
annual renewal is
An annual,
$250.
right, an annual.
Do you
Is
do
that-
much research for pawnbrokers?
Actually, I was just gonna say, I have some sample ordinances that I wanna bring to you guys in the relatively near future and absolutely make some changes because we want to include some reporting requirements, electronic reporting requirements, which don't appear in the ordinance as it stands now.
But they are reporting electronically now, aren't they?
Some of them are, but there's a cost, and some of them are not still,
Okay.
so we'd like to compel everybody to get on the electronic
Okay.
reporting, which would be much better for us.
How many pawn shops do we have in Waterford?
Too many?
Uh-huh.
Maybe 4 or 5?
Yeah, at
There's two on Huron, one on Dixie, and
Two on
two
Dixie.
on
Yeah.
Warren Drive in Dixie, and then down the old Drayton Place Post Office.
Yeah, so I think we have four in the
So we
township.
got two on Huron Street.
Two on Huron, yeah.
I bet you.
Actually, three if you wanna include C&L, over there, Telegraph and Huron, and Jonas property.
Okay, yep, that's right, it is, yep.
So
So I've got a couple sample ordinances, and Gary Dover and I have talked, we've done some, some back and forth on that. He's been busy with some other things, obviously, with the Court of Appeals and some other stuff, so we'll get back on that in the relatively near future, and we'll get something to you.
Scott, do you guys spend a lot of time looking after pawn shops, the reporting and stuff like that?
No, not
Is that-
necessarily. It comes in handy when we're, obviously looking for stolen
Right.
items, or when we have a particular case that we see, we think might be at one of these places, that all that reporting comes in handy for us. But we don't spend a lot of time, doing compliance checks or checking to see, how they're doing their business. I mean, we would like to spend more, we just don't have the people, we don't have the resources. That's why I think this electronic reporting would help us immensely.
Okay.
And they're pretty diligent about gun sales.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, they have to be, I mean, federal firearms laws are pretty strict.
Okay,
All right.
anything else?
No, so we covered that, and I said, as far as the ordinances and changing and stuff, that would be a good thing to, like I said, set up a meeting with Larry Lockwood. You, Scott, myself, Margaret, we have 3 full-time electeds here.
This is for the pawnbrokers now. Is
Yeah,
that what you're talking?
whatever, yeah, that's for
And,
you, and then he has ordinances he wants to discuss, we'll bring them all forward, and sit down with Larry and Rob Marinsky and go over them, because it's gonna have to go before who does that? Planning Commission?
Mhm.
And then they make a recommendation to the township boards. So we'll have to get it, but decide what we wanna do, so Larry can present it to the Planning Commission approve it or adjust it accordingly, and then bring it back to the board for approval.
Okay.
It'll take some time. Be a good January project when things are quiet. People are recovering from Christmas. Great idea. Because we got, right around the corner, there's pre-budgets and then budgets and
Cozy up by the
then
fire, right in Orange,
Christmas.
corn shops.
And hunting and Christmas.
Thanksgiving.
It's great.
Hunting,
Halloween.
Thanksgiving, hunting, Christmas.
Honey.
Yeah.
Snow shoveling.
Yeah.
So
Snow blowing,
Yeah.
ice
Snow
skating,
days.
not. The ice is too hard when you fall now, it hurts. Can't wear enough, put all your hockey equipment on it, it still
There's no
hurts.
upside.
So, okay, we're all set, Scott, if you wanna take off.
Thank you.
Stick around.
See you at 6.
Yep.
Thank
See you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing up is we discussed this at June 24th board work session about Judge Fox's retiree healthcare savings account. And currently, it is based on his portion of the township pay, which is $45,724. Our 2% is $914.48. His request was to have it on his entire salary of $146,721, and that would take our part of it to $29,3442, an increase of $2,019.94. So, Mark, you want to talk, you had a discussion with the state
Yeah,
court
we talked
administrator.
with Jennifer Phillips, who used to be the court administrator here, she's not the state administrator. And I guess the question came down to, how does this all dovetail with the Judicial Retirement Act? And they wanted to make sure there was no double dipping in regard to retiree health care. So when they looked at it, he participates in a 401A plan through the state of Michigan for retiree pension income, but there is no retiree health through the state of Michigan. The only thing that he would get as a retired judge would he could participate in the state health plan, but at 100% his cost. So it's really, he receives no benefit.
So he'd have to fund the whole thing.
You would have to fund the whole thing. the state of
So
Michigan.
whatever he put in, that was all the funding, there was no
Right.
match, okay.
Right, and then, so they did some research and they figured, they came down and ruled that for the township to participate, or to have him participate in the township's retiree health savings account at 2%, was not a violation or in conflict with the Judicial Retirement Act, but at that point, it is strictly voluntary up to the township whether or not, how to set that policy, whether the 2% would be on the township's portion of $45,700 or whether it's on the whole thing. It all comes down to, it is at the discretion of the funding agent, which is the Waterford Township. So it's up to this board whether or not he should receive that benefit on the whole thing or continue with the current way we're doing it just on the 45.7.
And that is a 2 and 2. It is a 2% employee match, 2% to townships. So what, that number 91448 actually doubles because he contributes the same amount into that account.
And does this healthcare also include the rest of the 51st District Court, or is this strictly judges?
Well,
Strictly judges.
the rest of the court, judges are state employees, the rest of the court are township employees. And Judge Kuhn, I believe, is in the old plan.
Okay.
And Judge DeBreck, I only went back as far as her, I reached out the payroll, and found that Judge DeBreck did not get any health care plan at all, nothing. There was no retiree health care savings account for her. There was nothing paid by the township for her. So, and again, like I said, this discretionary is at the, is the municipal board, whether it be a, city council, township board, whatever it is, it's their decision as to how they want to do that. And again, I can understand why the judge made this request, just like I said,
Sure. Are there any other
So I
employees
talked
that
to
kind
Howard
of
Schiffman,
fall into this?
and I asked
possibly?
him that. So I talked to Howard Schiffman today, and I said, is this setting a precedent? Is there anybody else
Right.
for this? And he said, no, he is the only one
Right.
that is in this individual boat. And then he said that if we do this, that Fox was not gonna pursue trying to get retiree health care
Correct.
from the state. And I said, can we have him sign a release saying, if we do this, you can't come back in 5 years and go, oh gee, I really want retiree health care now. And he said that he could put that into a resolution, that this is satisfying the requirement, and we acknowledge, and he acknowledges that this is it. And I said, what about, if, I don't know, he doesn't get reelected or he decides not to run, what happens to the next judge?
Right.
And he said, well, you can either look at that as a case-to-case,
It is.
or
Yep.
you can put it into the resolution, this is what you're running for.
Right.
This is the salary, there's
Yeah.
no,
Right.
there's no extras. So what I got from Howard was $2,000 a year. It's a principal, but what he's gonna have to, he'll litigate it, and what it's gonna cost to litigate.
Gonna litigate what?
If Judge doesn't accept or Judge Fox doesn't accept.
Okay,
our-
but it's at the discretion of
It
the local
is,
board.
it is, and
So there's
so we
really nothing to
can,
litigate.
I mean, it's a free country, you still
you
can,
can
you
still-
still.
I understand.
And Howard said he'd write a resolution, it's not gonna cost us anything to have him write the resolution with what I thought would be two necessary components to protect us.
So-
But,
On the other part of this, which I brought up with Mark, is that, are we obligated to pay for his health, dental, life, disability, optical? Because he's getting right now $20,937.79 of benefits from us.
Well, again, the question came up for me to research was whether or not we were obligated to pay retiree healthcare savings account on the whole thing. The question you asked me today, I really don't know the answer.
Okay, if
I-
we're
I would-
obligated to pay his health care,
Right.
because on the other flip side of it, we could say, well, I guess if that's the case, we would maybe not wanna pay your health care either, because we don't have to.
I have to think that's in some kind of an agreement somewhere. If we're paying 20 grand for it, it's gotta be written into
The
some
answer
kind
I
of
got when
contract.
I asked this several years ago, because that's the way we've always done it. That was the
Oh,
answer I got.
That's the answer.
That was it. That was the answer I got. And I said, and again, the court thinks it's an attack on them, it's not an attack on them.
Yes.
We have a financial responsibility as a governing body of Waterford Township to spend our taxpayers' money wisely, and that's our money too. It's the judges' money, they live in Waterford Township, they pay taxes too. But the bottom line is, it just, how much do you spend? Where do you end it? And where do you, tighten up the purse strings, especially the first year we came in? We were looking at $1.88 million deficit.
Sure.
That's really scary. That's a hornet's nest to walk into, but we tightened up the purse strings and told a bunch of people no, and it wasn't real popular with people, but it wasn't a popularity contest. The election was
So
over
then-
with. Now it's financial, making things work out.
This is a two-part thing then. We have Judge Fox, and then we should actually put something in writing, I would think.
Yes,
For
that's,
future judges.
that's what the resolution would
Yeah, well, that's
cover.
one, but I'm talking about if the 20,000 that that's the way we've always done it. If
Right.
it's not in a contract somewhere, we should probably at least look at that and
We
maybe.
don't have no contract.
Right, because he's not our employee, but we could have an agreement saying this is what we provide.
Right. Again, we
If-
can look into that, you know.
Just a thought, I mean, you know.
But what they said, when that question came up, I think it was 2013 when it came up, because that's the way we've always done it. And at one time, we
Yeah.
paid the judges pensions too. The judges got pensions in the township, and that went away, you know. But again, the judges are state of Michigan employees. They're not township employees, they're state of Michigan employees. They serve the 51st District Court, which is located in Waterford Township, but they're under the jurisdiction of the State Court Administrator's Office. The only involvement we have is, like I said, the financial part of it. That's our responsibility. The budgeting part of it, that's the board's responsibility. The funding, we're the funding agent, so.
That 45,000 a year, do we get reimbursed from the state?
That's pass-through money. Like I said, we put it up and then we get
So
reimbursed
basically,
by
the
the state.
state's funding the whole thing.
No,
The
that's,
state
no,
pays
that's
for
45,000. We're paying
of
that.
judicial salaries.
We're paying the 45,000,
We're paying that, but we get reimbursed for that. We're paying
Yes.
that.
so we're paying the
The
900.
914.48 we're paying.
That's what we pay per year for.
Yep.
Right, plus the
Basically, you're a state
20,000.
employee then,
Plus the
So
20,000.
my question now.
plus the 20,000 for healthcare.
Right, healthcare, dental.
Yep.
My question is, what budget would it come out of, 51st District Court or ours, and where we would get it?
Comes out of the general fund.
General fund, yeah.
Do we have it in the general?
You know, whatever revenue the court does not generate, the balance of that comes out of the general fund.
But do we have that amount of money in our general fund?
Yeah, we got
We
a
have the
significant
money.
fund balance,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have a significant fund
And
balance.
another thing too, is he's making 146,000 a year, 2%. I mean, if I was making that much money, I wouldn't squawk about paying that out of my pocket.
Well,
Well, but
you
instead
wanna
it's-
get everything you can.
You
know.
can, it's pre-tax
But
dollars.
see, if we-
It's essentially a 401K.
For healthcare.
Right, healthcare.
For healthcare.
Yeah.
Prescriptions, whatever you need
Right.
for doctor visits, stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, technically, we'd be paid 29, 34, 42, he'd be paid 29, so basically it'd be $6
So he
grand
is
a year would
paying-
be
yeah,
It's a
roughly
2%
$6
match
grand.
program.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
So-
2%. He pays 2%, we pay 2%.
so the amount he will contribute would increase as well.
so how did you come up with the 146,721? I was just asking because there's, according to Michigan legislature, I mean, I calced out like he should be getting 134,912.
That was the number, I don't remember, I don't
Well,
have it.
Margaret's got it right here from the state of Michigan, that's his salary.
What is
Yeah.
it?
$146,721.25.
That's-
That
Yeah.
is his
Yeah.
salary.
Yeah, wherever I got the document from, I don't know, I just wrote this stuff down so we could have
Did you get
a
that from
real
the state of
simple.
Michigan? Can I see that, please? The reason why I'm asking is because this legislature says 84% of the salary of a justice of the Supreme Court as of December 31st, 2015.
It's dated 2018.
I think we were all sent the.
Probably had cost of living increases since then, or something, that might be the
Judges,
difference.
I don't, since I've been here,
There
judges
probably
always
has,
have.
but
They have it?
I just pulled this, and it was,
That was the number when we asked, we were furnished with right there.
okay.
That might even come from Jennifer Phillips, I'm not sure. where
There,
we got
there
that.
might also be some kind of benefits in that 146 number to increase it from the 134.
I'm wondering, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. When I
So-
talked to Howard Schiffman also, he said that it's probably in our best interest just to go ahead and pay this, to keep our communication and our working relationship somewhat.
Sure, give him whatever he wants, and then he'll talk to us. Come on.
Howard was
I don't buy
Howard
it.
was weighing
I'm just saying.
$2,000
Well, yeah,
versus
you-
$10,000.
You give me a couple thousand a year, we'll talk, you know, if you don't, I won't talk to you.
That's
Come
just
on.
what Howard was saying,
Well,
because
Howard
his
was-
threatening letter.
I respect Howard's
But
opinion as
the
our
letter was-
attorney, but, you know, we gotta draw a line in the sand someplace.
I was told that was not meant to be a threatening letter in any way, shape, or form. That's exactly what I was told. And I was told that by Judge Fox himself. And Howard said that when he talked to the attorney said that we misread it. It was not meant to be that way. Well, again, everybody reads things differently. I read it as like, we'll see what you do and then we'll see what the next step is.
We'll see
That's
how
what I
threatening
read
it is
it
after
as.
you
But
decide.
you- if we go around worrying about people suing us,
Right.
you just might as well just resign from office, because everybody and their brother's looking to sue somebody, especially government, you know?
I think when we talked about this,
We
seems
did.
like 6 weeks ago, I think the
Yes.
primary.
June 24th.
Yeah, the primary objection, I think, that went around the table was, we were afraid we do this for him, what happens to everybody else? And that question, I think, is, there is no everybody else.
But
Right.
again, it's
I understand.
strictly discretionary.
I get it.
But see, the next judge is a female and we don't give it to her, now,
No, that's written in the resolution.
But
Too
that's-
bad, too
that's-
bad that
no,
she
I'm not,
didn't do it.
I'm not talking with the resolution, I'm
She
talking
would
just
get it.
without a resolution, I'm just talking.
No, if we gave it to him, there would be a resolution.
Right,
It's,
and the resolution would be applicable to anybody coming in.
No.
It's just to him?
Yes, that's what it would say.
Case by case
That's-
basis.
No, but Howard said we can change that in the resolution. We can close the gap.
Okay,
That's what I asked.
okay.
And I think we should put something in writing as part of this whole thing.
Well, but then somebody comes along and
Says-
sues you because you wrote it and did it that way, but
Yeah.
you included one more person in it before you did it. So now we're gonna sue you because this person should get it too. I mean, I can see the potential there for it, again.
I'm just taking
No, I can too.
our attorney's recommendation is that he does this, and this is what he suggests, but.
Okay. Well, we got a decision to make here.
Hmm.
Say we're currently paying $914.48. If we go with this request, we'll pay $2934.42. That's $2,019.94 more per year.
Yep.
Okay, so again, that's a decision we have to make.
Well, I don't like it, but after talking to Howard, the things we could put in the resolution, I think it's the lesser of two evils.
I say absolutely not.
You got anything else? And again, like you said, what Jennifer Phillips is strictly discretionary. We get, it's our decision.
That's right.
Judge DeBrek got
Well,
zip,
listen,
zero,
I feel like
zilch, nada. She didn't get
When
anything.
they asked me to work on this, my job is to kid it to like the 1 yard line, and
Yep.
it's up to you folks then to decide what you'd like to do.
Hand it off to
It-
somebody.
I won't ask your opinion then. Hmm.
Well, it's also, I believe, our discussion about the 20,000. Healthcare, dental, life, disability.
Well, we don't know what the reasoning is for it.
It's always been done that way.
Yeah, well, yeah, but is there,
Well, that's a separate subject we do
Right,
need to look
understood.
into, but that's
Yeah.
not what's on the docket.
Right,
Let's
understood.
stick to this right here. That way, so we could look at that and talk to them, see, see what the background is on that, so we got some history. See where it's at, but,
but you know, he's a state employee, why are we spending more money for his health care?
Do you have any
Or
justification
his
why you wanted
pension.
us to pay more?
I'm sorry, his pension on his health care.
Probably because the state might not provide it. I mean, that's the
Clearly
name.
said that the state does not provide
That-
healthcare.
That's why.
But yeah,
I
the
mean,
state.
healthcare or
right.
retiree healthcare?
Just healthcare in general.
There's no
No,
healthcare?
retiree healthcare.
Retiree
Right.
healthcare?
Okay.
I'll guarantee you the governor of the state of Michigan has healthcare. She, he, whoever's been on, I guarantee you they got health.
Who's paying Coons? Coons is under our, I mean,
Yeah.
his
He's
retiree's
under-
under
Under
ours,
the old
right?
system, correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's in
Okay.
the old system, yeah, because he was here in 2000 and I think
Right.
the court closed out in like '06.
Right. So the state pays
The
salary.
state of Michigan does not offer a judicial retirement health savings plan.
Right, we know that,
Yeah.
yes.
That's what I was trying to
Right.
say.
Retiree healthcare, but the subject that Kim was talking about was current.
Yeah, I
Dental,
know
health,
that.
life,
So-
optical,
And if he was looking for retiree healthcare, I mean, now you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. So he's saying he's doing concession by only asking for that.
He's
Mine-
asking for a pension,
that's-
basically for his,
Well,
A
I wouldn't
savings.
call $2,000
his
a pension,
401, okay?
but, or even enough to cover, if you look at $2,000 a year versus what retiree healthcare would cost. It's
Just going
it's
into
a
a
deal.
savings
But
account.
Yeah,
when
but
you
we're not-
when you
we're
turn
not-
65,
Right.
you've got Medicare.
Pre-tax.
So it's
And then now
investment
you have to have your
It's an
supplemental health insurance.
Okay.
And that's what they talked
Let's
about,
look at
you can
it.
get
Well,
someone
right.
as a
Long-term
retirement for $200 a
benefit.
month, you can get it.
So
Right.
what happens when he retires? Keep paying it?
No,
No,
that's
it's over.
it, because I said we're gonna
He's
put
got
in,
an account.
if we do the resolution, you put in the release, you can't change your mind 2 years later if you wanna go for the big one.
I don't know, I still think it's sort of fishy.
Yeah, I said my piece.
Is that 300% increase on what we paid?
Yeah, 9 times 3 is 27, that would take you to 29, that's
Yeah.
better than triple, so yeah. Yeah.
That's quite a bit.
And this is nothing against the judge, this
No,
has nothing
no,
to do with
sure.
it. Like I said, it's dollars and cents, and it's just, you know, that's where we're at, and so. Do you guys wanna wait and talk to Howard? I'm gonna see
Howard
Howard
prob-
tomorrow.
Howard probably gonna relay the same stuff he just told Karen, it's in our best interest.
Well, I don't represent Howard.
No.
You just wanna
You
talk to
just
Howard.
relay
Yeah,
what
no,
you
If
say.
he-
yeah,
If he
Yeah,
chooses to
you're
sue us,
right.
it's gonna cost us more than $2,000.
Well, that's what Howard
Yeah, but
like.
Absolutely.
you can't be worried about it.
I'm not, I'm just saying.
I mean, we
That's
should-
that's a
we
bona
have to
fide
look
fact.
at- we have to
But
look
if
at
you
those
go
laws.
back to
We
what
cut
the
deals like that all
state
the time.
court administrator told us, it's at the discretion of the
No.
municipality, there is no obligation
Right,
There's not.
to pay anything.
understood.
There's
I
So
get
I
that.
mean, what
Right.
grounds do they have to sue us? I
I
know
hear
the
you.
judicial
I know.
system
No.
They don't.
different, it just
They
is.
don't.
Just
They don't need
I
any
would-
grounds.
They
I
don't
would
need
tend
any
to
grounds
think
to
that
sue
way.
us. They can do
Um,
whatever
That's
he
it.
wants. They don't need any
No.
grounds to sue us. And if
Cost
we
of the
wanna
filing fee is
kinda,
$50, that's it.
you know, work with each other, is it worth $2,000 a year, maybe to
Oh. I'm not worried about that.
That's for the picnic.
Yeah, that's
Is
okay.
that-
I don't need a copy of it. I do.
I don't think our relationship's gonna be hurt one bit with the court over there, because we don't give Judge Cool an extra $2,000 a year.
Judge Fox.
Or Judge Fox, I'm sorry, Fox. I
But
think-
again, I can understand why Todd makes a request, like you said, it's, you know, it's more money for him, obviously. And he'll have the money when he retires, what's it gonna cost a month when he retires? Is it gonna be $400 or $500 a
Right.
month?
Yep.
For your supplemental insurance, who knows? Todd has to look out for Todd, he has to.
Sure.
He does. We have to look out for an entire municipality, the residents and the employees and the budget and everything, so that's how I look at
We
it.
got budget coming up, I mean, employees find out about this, everybody's gonna want a raise, and
Can we do something different? Can we say 3% we'll give you?
No, because
On the
it's
45,000?
it's already set for other people at 2%, 2 and 2, that's where it's at. So
Yeah, that would-
you start changing that, you're gonna open the floodgates where people are gonna want 3%, so.
Not for retiree health savings, but for their 401, yes.
Ah.
So,
I would suggest that you guys just talk to Howard, and then we come back and we can vote or make a decision then.
That can't hurt. But I'm not sure it's gonna change any minds.
It might not, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Just do due process, that's all.
Yep, makes sense.
I could call around to some other district courts to find out what they're doing, if that matters to anybody, or, I mean, if that,
again,
that would be interesting to know, but you know, we're
I got a
still,
list of the courts, that-
oh, do you?
all the ones that
well,
do.
when I presented this on the 24th and gave it to everybody, I gave everybody copies. I asked you guys to do your homework and look into it and stuff, and we should have came in here tonight, you know, educated. That's exactly what we wanted to do. Like I say, Karen reached to Howard and talked to him. I talked to Howard, maybe I didn't listen to him because I didn't hear it quite like she heard it, but then, since I talked to him, he may have done some more research and came up with it. We talked about 2 or 3 other different things today, but we didn't talk about that, so, again, like I said, it's something we can talk to Howard about if you want to, and get that input and then make our decision. It's, another 2 weeks.
I'm pretty much made my decision, so.
But again, if it's just on the basis that where if we don't do it, we're gonna get sued, well, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a bad
it's
reason.
not
Only
just
one
that.
to talk
either.
to us again.
Howard was really pushing keeping the peace because it's quiet.
Right.
Keeping a working relationship, that's what he was
It's,
pushing.
he felt it was a nominal amount.
And I understand that. I
It
do.
is a nominal amount, really.
I mean,
I
if you're
In the
talking
grand
time.
scheme of things.
Okay, but take that number and multiply it. Every employee in Waterford Township can give me that number back. And tell me how nominal that is.
Well, that's why I said to Howard, are we opening ourselves up? Are we setting a precedent?
I don't know. Like I
He said no. He
Every other-
said he was the
it's-
only one in that situation.
He is,
Yeah,
and I
it's a very
understand
unique
that.
situation
That's
being.
what-
But it's something to
state
reference
employee.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, I work for Waterford Township, I've been here 22 years, he's a state employee, and I come in here and bust my butt every day for this township, and you're telling me no, but you told a state employee yes? The potential of that being there. So what are you gonna say to that? You know, you just, they got you right there, so what's your response gonna be to that? Oh, that's okay, they call the supervisor's office, we don't need to worry about it, so, okay. I'm the one that's had to answer those questions, and I'm tough enough, I'm thick-skinned. I've been slapped around many times in my life, so it just, but the bottom line is, things could dovetail off of this. They could. Not saying they would, and not saying it makes anybody a bad person, but we've done a lot of stuff over there with the court in the last 3 years. Since you've been here, we've done things. Again, so we've done things to get the court, say, up to par with everybody else in the township, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The last time it was $26,000 or $27,000 more, you know, to realign the wages and stuff where they needed to be. You know, it was dated, it needed to be updated.
Is there a way to say no nicely? Like, based on the facts as we have them now?
9.
We can't vote
Because
it?
we don't wanna set a precedence for anybody else.
I mean, something as simple as that, you know? And then it opens the door, if they wanna bring more facts, have at it.
You know, as a trustee,
If
you
they
say,
want to,
hey,
I
we
mean.
want,
We need
we
to be
want
very
healthcare, we
nice.
want.
Yeah,
healthcare.
I mean,
And turn
As
it
a
down.
trustee, I mean, come on, where does it stop?
No,
I mean,
understood.
as a board, we can, us four,
Well,
you know, part-time, we can say,
This
they used
kind
to
of-
have healthcare.
this kind of pushes it back at them. And based on what we see right in front of us, we have trouble because it seems like it sets a precedent potentially.
But again, like I said, a lot of these things were done, like I said, trustees, 2 terms, had retiree health care.
Absolutely.
They did away with retiree health care. They didn't offer them a retiree savings account. Full-time electeds used to have a pension. I'm dead set against it. I don't think they should ever have a pension. I don't believe it. If you did 2 terms, you get a pension on the taxpayer's dime in Waterford Township. I'm glad they did away with it. The timing on doing away with it, I thought was fishy, but it is what it is. But the bottom line is,
It was.
but the bottom line is, again, you do this stuff to save money, and then you just don't turn around so you can start
Yeah,
adding it
it's-
back in
It keeps chipping
under
away
the
at it.
same circumstances.
Yep.
Retiree health care savings account, so let's increase it. We decreased all these other ones and took it away. Why are we gonna increase it for somebody else? That's what I'm saying. It just, it's contradicted to what has been done in the past to save money. You know, it's
Then it's
just,
obvious that the answer would
we're
be
telling the
no.
police department, until you do away with retiree health care, we're not hiring another cop. We're not. We did the same thing with pensions. You get rid of the pensions before we hire another police officer. And it took negotiation and it took good faith. Well, they finally did away with the pensions and we were able to start hiring police officers back, and hopefully that they get the retiree health care, because it's gotta go away. And I know it's not as appealing as some other municipalities are as far as pensions and health care, but, you know, we're fully staffed here. You know, so it's just, you can't control what people are gonna do. You can't. So, but again, it's something to think of. We've cut back, and now here's an increase in the retiree health part again, you know, so the way you're looking at it, does it make sense?
It would open a can of worms, I bet, you know.
Potential for it.
As, you know, if people wanted to make noise, they could.
Yeah,
And
there's
then on the other hand, he can sue us for anything that he wants to.
Well, you
And
gotta have
that's all
grounds,
over- I'm just
so.
saying.
There's 2
Yeah,
sides.
I think that would be a very unfortunate scenario for both the township and the court to
Sure.
wind up
It
suing
would
each
be
other.
horrible.
They're just
It'd be
horrible.
terrible for
It
him
would be
to
blasted
bring
all
out
over the
lawsuit
newspaper.
against
It would
them.
be all over
Right.
Facebook. It would be
We were
terrible.
almost there a couple of years ago, though.
That was one of the
That
things.
was-
No, you're right, we were,
That
really
was
close.
fun.
Kim and Art weren't here when that happened. There was fireworks in here.
Yeah, I
Is
remember.
there's no arbitration thing or anything, right? It's
No.
just plain.
It's a discretion of the
I-
board.
Anything's arbitration in my world, I'm sorry.
Not to my knowledge,
We were
not to my
all
knowledge.
here.
No, I'm just playing dumb. I mean,
6:09
I think, you
in
know,
Judge
I
Fox.
don't have an
It was
issue
a-
with
It was a first
refusing,
budget,
so.
we were in approve, not
Yeah.
approve.
Oh.
Just, I mean, that's where we were the last time, I think, when we left there, we were pretty
We
much,
served 1 term as a trustee.
in line with that,
Yeah.
you know?
He
And
got up and threw it down.
I guess if the statute states it's at our discretion,
He
then
sat in our seat,
yeah.
sat in their seat.
I don't have an issue
It's
saying
our
no, it's
responsibility
easy to
as
say
voters.
no.
Boy, we have to say no
Right.
sometimes, we gotta draw a line in the sand. We just can't keep going on and on and on, giving.
Accusations.
So
were thrown.
we'll talk to Howard
It
about
was really
this. I have a meeting, I'll get a hold of him to set up come to the board work session on the 26th.
6.
That's 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
I'll let Judge Fox know that we're looking further into it. We're gonna get advice from legal counsel before we make our decision. I'll let
Do
you
you,
know.
I mean, you've talked to him, I've talked to him. Does he need to come to work session, or can these guys all talk to him independently?
To Howard Shipman?
Yeah.
You can talk to him,
I mean, whatever, it's just to expedite things, but,
But again, if we're all together and we all hear the same thing at the same time, there's.
true, okay.
It just, you hear, he talks to 7 different people, the potential is there to hear 7.
Seven different
different
stories, yes.
They interpret it 7 different
Good
ways.
point.
We still-
Like somebody said, sure is hot out today, 78 degrees is hot, you know what I'm saying?
Right, I
For
got
some
you.
people, it might be
82.
70, you know. But again, well, it sure is hot out today, hot, you think so, 95 degrees, it's just scorching. But again, it's how people interpret things, so. So, okay, we'll talk to Howard on that, and then, say the numbers are good, that's where they're gonna be, and that's where they would be, so.
And if you have time to research what other courts are doing,
yes.
that would be
Yeah.
interesting.
What
Look at
what
it
other
just for fun and see.
municipalities?
I will, yep, see what they're doing.
I'll
But
take care
I
of it.
can forward it from my
Forward me the
computer.
information you have, and then I'll make some phone calls to find
Okay.
out.
You got all that information you said?
Well, I got it from, Andrew, all the district courts that, aren't subsidized. I mean, are subsidized by the townships. and
By the
cities.
municipality.
Right.
They're not a county court.
Yeah.
They're a third
District court.
class three
Yeah.
standalone, so it's a third class standalone or a class three standalone, okay. Okay, Mark, thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Mark.
thank you.
Did everybody see the email from Jim Zampol? Waste hauler ordinance, he was concerned about this, the very same thing, I talked to Gary Doherty. If scrappers are going down the road and they're gonna stop and take aluminum, brass, copper, some type of metal out of somebody's garbage, we're not policing that,
No, we discussed that,
we're not. The
right.
garbage is in the county or MDOT right away to start with, okay? Not that we don't have enforcement in that, but again, and that kind of like he was talking about, you know, that's kind of what he referenced to in here, the neighbor's scrap metal to, for example, it's a scrap dog, but again, same thing. That's something we're not enforcing, it's not written in the ordinance that there will be a penalty for somebody taking scrap metal out of, you know, somebody's garbage can or recycling bin or whatever it might be. So I just wanted everybody to see that and just remind it wasn't anything that we were gonna do or worry about, so.
I saw him coming down the other day, loaded it in, took it from the curb and put it in his car, in his truck. Metal.
So, and then, a guy, called me, Mike Bakalukas called me, Tomato Kitchen. He had the one over on Castle Elizabeth, and I had the one over on Cooley, which I believe is closed. And he called me up and he just said, you know, he has people that are wondering about opening a hookah bar. And I won't repeat what I said, but in a short condensed version, no. So,
Absolutely.
so is anybody in favor of hookah bars?
No,
No.
No?
can we say no?
What's that?
I mean, what, do we have an ordinance?
I doubt our ordinances have anything up for hookah bars.
Okay,
Hookah bars, our ordinance, when we revisit the ordinance, 2014?
14,
Yeah, 2014.
they just started getting rolling there.
is that something we should look into? mean,
Well, I can talk a little bit, do you want a hookah bar?
No, I don't, but I'm
That's
just
what
saying,
asked.
do we have something in the
He
ordinance
wanted to know
that
if we were
protects us?
interested in something, I said no, so are we interested, you want a hookah bar?
No.
See?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
No, I'm
not.
not, absolutely not.
No, okay, so just, I'll relay that message. And again, if they wanna sue us to open a hookah bar in Waterford Township, they can do that, they have the discretion to do that, so.
We were here before they were.
80 bars a door, right? But it is, so that's all of the things that I had there about, you know, we talked about massage, we talked about the judge's retired healthcare savings, And we talked about hookah bars, and we talked about, what was the other one there? Scrap metal out of garbage cans, so, for recycling them, so. Who else has something?
I have some stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so the fire department report's being revised, and the new one is being input, because the numbers don't add up in the original one. So,
For the year?
for your month to date, it said 1191. And if you looked at what was in your board packet, it totaled up to be 930. He's revised them now,
Okay.
so he's made a correction.
So on the July report, or he's revised the June report? And
He's revised the June report.
did he carry over the revised numbers into the July report? So were it's accurate again, or are they inaccurate?
I don't have the July report yet.
Okay.
We don't have it. He did not have the other on there. There's some other for 261. So this is what was in your packet.
So it was revised down?
So you add these three, don't match that number?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, it does now because the other's been added at 261. But if
Oh,
you
the
see,
old decision, okay.
you see, you had, this was the old one that was in your packet. Fires 22, EMS 853,
Also
fault
has
55. If you total that up, it only totals 930 because there's nothing else.
He didn't have others in there then?
Right,
Okay.
others in
So
there.
he left one out of it, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
The same with the bottom part. Same with the total cost for year to date. He left off other for whatever reason.
I have never ran the month, I always look at them at the end of the year.
So I guess when that comes up, we'll just say
Revised, yeah.
Waterford Regional Fire Department for the month of June.
Are we gonna have to amend the agenda tonight under this agreement, the Central Support Service Resolution?
I did talk to them, and they've got a new person in, and she is eligible to sign for him.
For Dave,
For
okay.
Woodward?
Yeah, we do need to bring it to the fact that the wording, you know, her name needs to go with his, and his needs to go.
What's her name, Marcy?
I wrote it in my board pack, so I
Okay.
have to remember it, so, yeah. But she has the authority to sign, because she was
Okay.
appointed by the commission itself, so.
Yeah,
My
she's the
understanding-
chairperson. She's the new chairperson,
Right.
Dave's out
Yeah,
altogether.
right, she's been appointed new chairperson, correct. He's no longer on the commission. yeah.
Right.
So my understanding for those services is primarily for the radios.
Yeah,
Yep.
This is the radio.
yeah.
Yeah, we do. I think there's been a little bit of vehicle maintenance over the years, but just a spot.
Lighting maybe, he said something.
Yeah.
about
They take over the
lighting maybe.
central garage there.
There's a bars and stuff like that, but there's been a little bit of vehicle, mostly, like I said, it's been, has been.
It's usually a new vehicle, you get new vehicles that go over there, correct?
I don't know if they do that to the county or not, I'm not sure how that
They
works.
used to,
With light bars and stuff like
well,
that,
no, the communication, the radio.
the radios and stuff.
And light bars too, yeah, they did that,
Yeah,
yeah.
they do light bars,
Yeah.
sirens, or, you know, the speakers and
Right.
stuff like that, but yeah.
And also, I talked to Gary Dovry in regards to this waste hauler reintroduction ordinance, and if you looked at section 10-274, waste hauler licensing required, he agreed with me that I'm thinking we need to change this. It says after December 31st, 2019. That it should be changed to after March 30th,
Correct.
2020.
Yeah.
No person shall act or be engaged in business as a waste hauler
Yep.
in the township without applying for or obtaining a license, basically is what he says.
Have we, or did we need to amend anything to reflect the change in scheduling to have it start in March instead of January?
In regards to.
Just the schedule that we had for the haulers to submit their bid and then for us to tell them when and that it's gonna start
We
in March.
we moved those dates back 2 weeks, the date to adopt it, we moved back 2 weeks.
Right, did we need to do that formally, or just, I mean, I was looking
But
through,
when we adopt our final ordinance, it's gonna be in the ordinance
to do
itself.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's gonna be in the final ordinance, but like I said, I was against that being introduced in the first place, but that had to parallel with the bid specs, so they had to have something to refer to say, well, that's actually going to happen that way.
my only hesitation
So-
is that some of the one bid spec noted that they could do the January date. So,
Well, they didn't, well, when we met with all of them at the meeting, they didn't.
okay, it was just
They
in,
were all good with the.
Okay.
The second quarter, the end of the first quarter. I mean, it's one day off at the end of the first quarter, and those people will find that. And it's a day off, you know, but again, it's just technically, you know,
just one of them
March
referenced.
31st, my
that their
dad and
start
Corey
date-
Howe's birthday, end of the first quarter. It's just like I said, it's a very significant date.
Okay.
But, and I said my dad because he was older than Corey Howe, I said him first.
So there's a few other dates changing, just under existing waste haulers. It says November 15th, 2019, but based on the above one, we're changing it to March 30th, 2020. Now, this one would probably read February 14th of 2020, where they have to submit a complete application for a waste hauler license to the township clerk.
You can obviously somebody that's in the firearms deer hunter wrote that because that's only the deer season or no.
February 14th? Oh,
No, November
November.
15th.
Okay, so there,
They wouldn't have been bound to enforce it anyways, they'd have been up on deer hunting, so.
and then there was, in 10-276, a copy of the most recent governmental inspection certificate or report, if any. Why do we have to have if any? So he's-
Shouldn't be,
Right, so he's taking that off.
right. Well, since, but again, since then, we've looked at that and talked to them, they have private contractors who, you know, what DOT, Department of Transportation specs. That's what the inspections are done to, and they're certified, you know, they're certified to do that work, so it's, you know, it's.
So
it's
are
like-
we gonna, can we still adopt it with these changes, or do we need to make these changes?
He said that we could still adopt it as long as we,
Reference the changes?
yes.
Maybe I
I need to go print it off again.
This will be the third time for this now, too.
Yeah, and so, and then instead of 10 days, he's making it 7 days, just so you know, to be put in writing to the waste hauler for the clerk's office. What's happening is when we're writing these independent ordinances, we're picking all different times and dates and numbers. And if you looked back in what had already been written in many other ordinances, it's been 7 days before a hearing before the township board on a date. So instead of saying 10 days, we're gonna make it 7 days. We're trying to get more consistent here so we can do our job better. That's my thought.
Sounds good.
Makes sense.
So we don't get in trouble for missing the 10 days, so we're going to say 7 days, like every other ordinance.
Yeah, consistent with that.
But, and he's taken out Michigan, because he had 2 Michigans in there, and he said, oh, well, that was one for the UP and one for the lower. And he was laughing. Because he had 2 Michigan. Why 2 Michigans? Anyway, I guess we could still introduce it. What do you want to do? Well, if that's the case, I'll have to say based on all those changes. He said he would be fine with it. I guess he's going to be here tonight.
What did he advise?
He said he's fine with
Sit
us.
there and read all the changes,
Yeah,
and then,
Versus waiting till the next meeting and just doing a clean copy. Right?
yes.
And is there any
They did-
negative to doing
well, I
that?
may
To
say,
wait.
between now and the next meeting, are there gonna be more
More
changes?
changes?
Well,
Do
that's
it
my,
again?
that's my,
Since this would be the third time, that would be 4 times, and again,
Right.
sooner or
so
later.
I'd be in lieu of making the corrections
And bringing it back
back with a
in.
clean copy.
So we would want to pull this from the agenda.
That's
this
what I would
time.
do.
We would say we are going to pull this amended reintroduction of our ordinance, and we will look at it within the next
Can we
week.
table it? No, okay.
And then we would just say we would bring it back. Is that,
I imagine if it isn't, he'll speak up and say it isn't, tell you what the correct wording to say would be, you know, from a legal standpoint.
he's going to say, well, I'm fine with these changes and just introducing it now.
Yeah, we should do it.
That's what he advises, that's what we'll do. But if we, like I said, if we can, you know, pull it off the agenda until the next board meeting, in case there's any other, those changes and any other changes.
Which there probably will
Because
be.
he's, and then he, in the meantime, he can send us a clean version of it again with the changes in red, so we're aware exactly what it is it's gonna be, you know.
Yeah.
I think it would be much more well received by the public.
It's easier to
the
follow.
more, yes,
The more changes you make, the harder it is for people to follow, and the more
Confusion.
belief there is, there's, you know, public perception is that you're not trying to, you know.
smoke.
Keep changing it. You don't wanna keep changing it all the time, it makes us look retarded.
But, and I understand why he did that, you know, so you had reference, this is the ordinance we're gonna come in with, and these are the bid specs, they match up after you explained it, but I thought that we got ahead on the ordinance, because, you know, until we get everything in and then sit down with the haulers and meet with them and say, well, we can't do this, you know, and not knowing, I've never been in the garbage business, we may have put things in there that weren't realistic, so, you know, we can't really do that, but we can do this, okay, that we can change that in the ordinance, make all the changes, make him get a clean copy of the ordinance and adopt it at the end, but it didn't work that way, so, but I can understand why after you explained it, yes. We've got an ordinance, this is gonna be our ordinance with amendments, these are our bid specs, and they parallel with each other. We're prepared to practice what we're preaching, so.
Here, one thing I gotta ask is, fire department, we did not get the SAFER grant. Trying it again,
No, didn't apply for it.
we didn't apply for it?
No. We got a 9-month extension,
And that expires in September,
September 25th or 27th, I believe.
maybe about 24 firefighters.
I think there's just 28, I think is what's there with SAFER. But if we get the stuff out of the way for the SAD, 5 of those will stay on.
How's that going? You heard anything?
Wednesday.
This Wednesday, we're
Wednesday.
gonna know,
It's
there's
going
gonna be a
for
decision?
First hearing that day. They got 6. They got 6 appeals that day, and that's the first one, so. Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if everybody got the MTA's township focus.
Yep.
There's a big, well, a little thing on the medical marijuana emergency rules. It's easier to read than 52 pages.
Right.
64.
Right,
Right.
so it's just interesting, and how they're blending the rules with the medical.
That's the
and
most recent
recreational.
one?
Yeah, this was just August 2019.
They're blending the medical and.
Well, it's just saying how they're, where there's overlap, how they're addressing the licensing. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's an easy read, 2 pages.
And then again, like I said, when we're done with the single hauler, that's the next thing we're addressing.
Right.
Is MMA. We said we've opted out of the recreational, but we have to look at the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act, the medical marijuana, and look at that. I believe the guy is coming in to speak tonight. They were going to speak tonight is medical marijuana. Just sit down and hear what they have to say. I don't know if it's the importance of it or what, you know, how they're looking at it. I don't know who it is, but we have the decision to make because after December 5th, it's out of our hands. And the state takes, they want to say you're going to have 40 grow operations and 80 dispensaries. You're going to have up to 40 grow operations and up to 80 dispensaries. That's what's going to be a touch. Those are made up numbers, but again,
Right.
we should, you know, try and have
Some control.
some control over what we're doing, what we have here. So that's things we need to think about. People need to do their homework, get educated on it, and see what we can do.
So, the person that's coming in tonight, basically, I mean, as board members, we don't have to say anything.
No, you're going to presentation.
We're
tonight.
just
And I'm
going-
doing
A
it.
lobbyist or?
I think he's an
He's a
independent,
consultant.
yeah, he wants to open a business, I'm assuming it was, did you guys get the binder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to,
That's
yeah.
Phil and Dave George.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I.
Yeah, and,
I'm just.
Phil Carroll's and-
yeah,
Pardon?
David George.
Maybe a
And
poker face.
there's another guy,
Joe Freitas.
Joe Freitas.
Tree company. I'm trying to think of the name of it. He's got, he owns a tree company, yeah.
And they're basically gonna
I'm not talking about
do
it.
their pitch.
Right, Frace is the one that's gonna be here, right?
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Freitas,
so-
yeah.
Well, Dave George will be here and so will Phil.
Those two guys will be here too? Those are
I'm
the
sure they'll be in
consultants
the
that
audience.
this guy hired, I presume?
I'm sorry,
Those are the consultants working with.
those
Freitas
three
is
are working
the way I
together,
read
that
that,
might
right,
come
yeah.
in Waterford. And I think the auditorium's gonna be full because Phil was on Facebook
Yeah,
telling everybody their brother to come
That's
here.
Yeah.
not a lot of cars in the parking lot, yes.
Not yet, but
It's still a little early.
They can, They could be out burning one, and they could be.
Yeah, just
They're
turn
going
back.
slow.
Well, they don't wanna burn on government property, they wanna be respectful.
They could be eating, too.
Well, then, they said they got places.
Right.
Mickey Arby's,
Hey, they might be
Burger
getting
King,
vegetables next door, we don't know, they might be getting stuff for
crispy
dinner.
chicken, there's several
Right.
different.
Yes.
On a lighter note, has anybody been to the vegetable stand yet? Oh,
No,
God, the corn is great.
it's packed.
Oh,
You
great.
haven't had any corn yet?
I've
Oh,
had cornet from there.
Oh, come on.
oh, you gotta go over there.
There is no better corn.
Half a dozen for
Earth.
$3.50.
That's what I,
Wow.
I gotta say.
They
All right, I'll
they had
have
the
It's the
corn,
best.
they had
I
the corn
tried to
roast
stop
there
by there
yesterday.
and it was always.
Yeah,
full.
from what,
Yeah.
3 to 5 or something, 11
I,
to 5?
when I was by there.
What time do
were
they
pumping.
close?
I think
Because
5 or 6,
Yeah.
5 or
Yeah, 'cause
6.
I went
They
by there,
close
they
by
were-
9.
On Sunday, they might close a little earlier, but, yeah, on the way back from breakfast yesterday, we stopped, the grandkids were coming over, so they had 2 ears of corn each, so that's 2, 4, 6 right there. But that corn is just,
It's the
and it's
best.
big already, they're big ears,
Right.
big ears, you know.
I got some radishes there, they're almost the size of that
Yeah,
tomato
like a
Tim was
golf
showing
ball.
you.
Yeah, they're like golf balls, they're huge.
They got a good little kick to them too.
Yeah, they just
Just
enough
the
of a bite
perfect
to
one,
let
yeah.
you know they're not too hot.
So does
They're
anybody-
later in the year ready, just so the skin's a little
Anything
thick,
else?
but other than that, it's, you know.
I don't mind
Anybody
it.
have anything?
Yeah, I like,
No.
I like the
I try to have
first,
first.
second week of May radishes, I plant
Huh?
them,
Do you have anything
well,
else?
I don't.
Yeah, we didn't
about
find
40
it.
days,
No.
but I plant them every year, and then first ones,
Lot of moving
I
parts.
eat candy,
I have a
and if you
couple.
bite them, they
Yes.
squirt, you know.
Yeah.
and
Lot of
it tastes
moving
great.
parts.
Yeah, Mary didn't plant them this year.
I love them, man.
And our green beans yet.
They were right, just dump the cow and throw them right in it.
So I have a couple other things with election stuff. So budget stuff is coming up soon. And I want to make sure that we're aware that we might have even 4 elections next year, depending on what they do with Alphonse Patterson's
On
position.
Wednesday, we should know, because they're doing interviews.
So we are having 3 elections next year. We're having one this year.
I would do before elections, but it would be midterm,
They could
November
make-
ballot.
Well, they have to do,
Primaries?
primaries, correct, thank you.
So there's
Primaries.
a
General.
primary election next year, and then there's a general election.
If they do it that way, they could do the primary on March 10th, and then they would have to have a special election in May.
Who's we?
The
We,
county.
us, anybody.
Who would need to make that determination?
The county
Commissioners?
commissioners, yes.
Commissioners, okay.
Yes, the
The
commissioners.
county could order that. that
Oh,
they
you're
have-
talking about for the executive, Jen?
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Okay, are you,
yes.
I'm thinking the primary is always in August, and general.
There's a guy walking his dog.
So is he coming in?
He likes me.
He
Comes
likes-
by to visit when I go to the flower beds.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Does he just sniff them?
What's that?
Does he just sniff them?
No, he wants to know if I get any treats.
So Kim, if they had a special election for the county executive, when would that be held, do you know?
A
Any-
special election, well, it
March.
depends.
March
Yeah,
and May, you said?
Yeah, it would be March and May.
More importantly, who pays for it?
Yeah.
Well, we do.
Well,
That's only a 2-month
state
turnaround.
pays for it if they mandate it, but the county
Is-
doesn't.
Well, I have to check on that, I'd have to check on that.
Because that's only a 2-month turnaround. Typically, August to November is a
Right.
3-month turnaround from
Well, no, this would
primary
be-
to general.
It'd be a special one, though.
Yeah,
This
but it'd
would
be a-
March
good.
10th, April, May, yeah, it would be May.
It wouldn't be a primary, would it? It'd just be
Yeah,
the election.
primary would be March
Special
10th,
election, it would have to go with the
Really, for a
primary
special
general.
election?
When's a
Yeah.
presidential primary?
August.
The primaries.
What
Presidential
about
primary.
The state?
Oh,
I don't know.
That's
August.
It's
That-
March
that's
10th.
March.
March
March
10th.
10th,
Oh,
March
so-
10th.
Okay, so it
March
wouldn't be an
10th.
additional
Yes.
election then. Okay, the additional
Oh,
one would be
presidential,
May.
okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
They
correct.
don't have
March
a
10th.
primary for commissioners, they just have a special election.
Primary
No.
for a county executive,
This
is
would
what
just
she's
be for
talking
the
about.
executive.
If they don't
Yeah.
choose
If
nobody.
you got 5 Republicans and 10 Democrats running, you gotta have a primary election, you gotta zero.
Well, Ms. Brooks' is term up anyway.
November 2020?
Yeah.
So why would they have a special election?
Because
Well,
there's-
what they need to do is just keep the person in.
Well, that's what I
Well,
said.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
you
how
just-
stupid is
January
that?
one.
Boy, son,
Until
state.
August.
You're
Until
right, it
August
is January,
primary.
January 1.
Yeah,
And then they
January
can
one.
run,
January
whoever
is-
wants to run for Brooks's position, August.
And then they're appointed.
And that would be the
How stupid
primary,
is
and
that?
then
That's
in
crazy.
November.
They're doing interviews Wednesday morning,
Right.
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, no,
If they
I-
don't pick nobody.
They got 6 applicants
They're
already.
Yeah.
doing they're doing the picking on Friday, the day after the 5th.
Well, maybe what?
They have.
Logic will
opted to do
prevail, and they'll just keep us on there and
Well,
call it a
yeah.
day.
Hopefully, that would be wonderful if logic prevailed.
But it's
That would be
government,
the
so that
fairest.
doesn't-
And then let it just be part of the
If they
general
don't
election
get it,
next
then
year.
it's
Why
not gonna
would
work.
we?
Because Dave Woodward tried to do a power
What did you
grid
say?
real
All the
quick and it
deputies
just.
are gonna
But
walk.
that's so
If they change
stupid.
it,
If they change.
Why would you
Again,
appoint
it's
somebody
poli-
for
it's
office for
political.
6
It's
months?
political.
It's political, it's gotten
Well, it's
political.
not-
Understood,
When
but
things
that's,
get political, it
Even
comes
if
to
they do the
suspect.
interview
But
and
that's
then they
dumb.
have to vote,
Some
if it's a
choices.
Republican, it's gonna be, it'll be a dry heat. And
There's
if
two,
it's a
there's
Democrat-
only three member.
So let me ask you this, I asked this to
board
Gary.
Committee,
And
Tom
Oakland-
Middleton,
Oakland County has
Marcy, and then the gal
21
from Novi.
commissioners.
And
So
then
they
they make
just make them
recommendations to the
individual,
county
and then
we have
commissioner
15.
Friday morning.
Is it
So
based
the
on
three that are
districts?
interviewing, are they Republican or Democrat?
21
I mean, I'm
districts.
There's
Republican.
6 people, 5 or 6 right now. One guy ran against Brooks,
I
his
think they
last
could make
name
it
starts
however
with
they
H.
want it.
there's 6 applications, right?
Well,
I
the
heard
other
about
5
61
are nobody.
But the
municipalities.
commissioners that are interviewing,
There's
is it
61
two Republicans,
municipalities
one
in
Dem?
Oakland County.
One
But
Republican,
I'm
2
assuming they have 21
Marcy,
districts with a commissioner for every
chairperson.
district.
That's what I'm thinking.
And I think you have the
gal from
population of those
Novi.
districts has to do with it, but I think
Yeah,
at one
Marcy.
time, they may have
Yeah.
increased
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
she's
the
like,
amount of people per district.
Huntington
and then they
Woods or
were
something?
able
Yeah,
to eliminate
yeah.
some. I don't
and then a
know.
gal from Novi.
Like, we used to have
that-
29 voting
Democrat,
precincts in
Tom
Watertown, we
Middleton.
have 21 now.
I was
We
at
got
the.
rid of
They'll make
them.
recommendations to the county commission.
The commissioners
Committee,
50-50.
non-executive committee last Monday.
Yes, no, yes,
Commissioners
Because what
yes,
was resigned?
50-50.
approved
So they could end
support
up in a dry heat,
for the unions to go
But
into
then,
Beaumont Hospital
executive
for
would
the
make the final
nurses.
vote.
right?
And I raised the question, what
Oh,
what
right.
authority does the commissioner
Jerry
have to do
hasn't
that?
put in his application yet.
There were 5 nurses there
I said-
pleading, they don't want it.
He just got back from Oregon
And
this
2
morning.
Republicans voted with the
So he-
Democrats.
County
I'm assuming that he's gonna put
commissioners
it
got a
on.
majority vote.
Right.
They already had,
Resume.
they already had 11.
But
But
Ron,
And it'd be
Ron
very
sent a
foolish
letter
not
out
to-
to me, he
to do-
basically
yeah.
blasted
And
me.
I know
They
Dave
no way to
Woodward
do
doesn't
that.
get
I
to
agree.
get his job back.
No, that shouldn't have nothing,
No,
I read
that's
that.
private
I got
sector.
sent.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Private sector.
They have no right to
I
do
If
don't
somebody
understand.
asks for an opinion, you can give your opinion, but you vote on it, you know.
How did they get away with it?
So the Oakland County Board of Commissioners voted to bring a union into what hospital?
Beaumont.
Beaumont Hospital.
Well, and there was 5 nurses there, and every one of them was dead against it.
Huh.
What gives them the authority to do that?
So I don't know what's gonna
Steve
happen.
was
but-
just asking.
But they can't do it,
Absolutely.
they just pass a resolution. They can't say nurses
They
get,
shouldn't even be allowed to pass the resolution.
So,
well, they shouldn't be, but when you got a
since
Democrat
it's budget
control.
time also, and I need to get people to work, like 200 people maybe during these elections.
200?
Yeah, I remember that was a big deal for us too.
Yeah. So we were at one time $150 per inspector, but I'm thinking I'm going to increase it to $175 per inspector to be competitive. They work at least 16 hours a day probably, and to get anybody to do that, we need to be somewhat competitive. Highland Township is at $180.
And West Bloomfield is too, 180 or 185.
Right. So just to let you know that I'm probably going to be increasing it to 175 for the inspectors.
Are you gonna post that? So
We will, yes.
people
Yes, I will post
will
it.
run to the township and sign up.
Say, oh, I wanna do it.
Well, typically our inspectors are seniors.
Yes.
Right.
They are.
Seniors, yeah.
They are seniors.
A little bit extra money helps them out, so.
It'll be interesting to see how busy it is this year with the new absentee.
Yes, that will be interesting.
Well, that and just
Interesting
come
is
in
a
at
good
the
word.
20,
Mhm.
you can come in at the 23rd hour, 59 minutes and 59 seconds too.
And register and vote. the
Register
same
and
day.
vote and,
Yes.
you know, so it's,
Again and again and
It's
again.
gonna be interesting.
yes, it is. You
And if anybody gets any chance to stop in that room, I don't know if it's open right now, and look at any of the voting booths, because we do need new voting booths.
Did we just get new machines?
We did get new tabulators
know.
about 2 years ago.
Right.
But the ones you stand there where you fill your ballot out, the
Yeah.
little,
Sue got, or she put in to get some, and then
Yes.
was they defective or something?
yeah, if people were doing collapse, my people were voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember
They were a
that.
disaster.
Yeah. Okay. I do remember this story.
But those weren't,
Is that it?
they weren't cardboard.
Are we good?
were they?
We're good.
Yeah, 'cause I hate
We're
girls
good.
from
I gotta go
home.
to the girls' mom.
I don't remember.
I think there are cardboard ones, and actually the guys love setting up those cardboard ones.
Really?
Hey, Ken,
He needs it.
Thank you, sir.
no problem.
I went to the
I like
airport door open
Karen's
house
husband
yesterday and
Mark's,
watched it fly over.
remarks about that.
Yeah, I was there too.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he'll go on and on.
They did it right this time.
Yeah.
3 planes south and then
There's
the
no
missing
said,
man
do you
goes
want me to
west.
come, and I'm like,
But
nope.
they were talking
I
about
do
that
not want
earlier, and
any
I thought, well, here
engagement.
they come,
I
geez, they're
wish you'd
coming,
have let
but
them
they
come.
circled around and came up and went south.
You know, we were on the bleachers.
Is that Dover?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
seems to be.
We were on the bleachers, Gary, and that being